It is 3:17 in the morning, and I just had a dream. I don't even dream. Only time I dream is the devil give me dreams. These gang stalkers implants dreams. But I believe this was God. My throat is kind of vibration in my spine. Anyway, this girl I used to be friends with, well, I was her friend, she was my friend, because a lot of people told me stuff that she was saying about me. I never did tell her. I never did approach her about all the stuff people were saying. They were different people were saying, she was saying stuff about me. But when I being gang stalked, she actually, it's 319, they still ride. Stopped dealing with me. And she brought a boyfriend to my house. He gonna walk up on me and then snatch back. You was a married man. You committing adultery and you trying to snatch back from me. And you going with somebody that doing the same thing I was doing. So what you snatching back on me for? Anyway, when I woke up from that dream, I started praying. And I don't know how I come to the exit question about gang stalking. And I said, who would do this to me? And I got the answer. I know who did this to me. Danny Bradshaw, the same man that covered up my son, who was the chief of police in my hometown. That's who did this to me. The one that covered up my son's murder. That's who did this to me. Because I was being attacked back in the 80s. I was in my hometown in the 80s. And that's who did this to me. And that's why my sister was being attacked, because she cussed him out. Because after I left home in 90 or 91, no, let me see, let me get my story right. Yeah, I left home in 90, I think. Came back in 93. Let me see. The night 2005, I believe it was. When I lost my apartment because I had my daughter staying with me. I didn't get evicted. I got a letter from my house manager. And when I got the letter, I just left. But I didn't go to court. I just left. And my brother told me I could come stay with him. But then he started acting out toward me. Threw my stuff for no reason. I ain't did nothing. Threw my stuff outside and all kind of stuff. And that's when I found out that him and my sister had forged our name to get the house in his name. Trying to think. That's when my other brother told me I could come stay with him in Virginia. So I stayed there for about 6 months because I started going to Bible college. And I moved back here to North Carolina. And One of my sisters died in 2006. I came back home in 2000. My son got murdered 2007. And Danny Bradshaw went to court and told all kind of lies. He went to court and acted out like he was dead. But it didn't happen the way he said it happened. My son wasn't even fighting when he got murdered. He was standing talking to a girl, and this boy called him to the car. So he started walking toward the car, and the boy that shot my son was laying down in the car and sat up and started shooting at my son. My son started walking towards the Smith boy. I can't even think his name. And when he started walking towards the Smith boy, cause the Smith boy called him back. Even his mama said she heard someone say, "Vilas, come here," cause that was my son Miller's name, Vilas. And when my son started walking towards him, the brown boy sat up in the car and started shooting at the ground. He thought my son was gonna run, but my son stopped. And this is what I was told. My son stopped walking towards the Smith boy and started walking towards the brown boy, Geraldine Brown. And Geraldine jumped out the car and shot my son and started running. A coward, pure coward. But yeah, he bragging about how he got away with murder, first degree murder. He got away with it because God knew. God knew he gonna go to hell. So he should have went to jail. Took a jail instead of going to hell, because hell is eternal. Because once you go to hell, you go into the lake of fire. Him and Danny Bradshaw. But Danny Bradshaw did this. Covered up my son's murder, and then gonna blackball my name. Because I said he didn't tell me what happened to my son. He was too busy trying to take me off somewhere. He had the nerve to ask me, I want him to take me somewhere where I can relax. My son laying face down in the dirt dead, you no good piece of crap. And then he gonna ask me that question. I told him, no, I want you to take me nowhere. My son laying out there dead. The man is like is the second hand of death to the devil. My son laying there face down in the dirt where they didn't even try to survive him. They let my son die. Cause my son was alive and the ambulance came, didn't even touch him. My cousin told me she was trying to turn his head because he was guggling on his blood. And the police told him if the little coward that didn't even do nothing, when the boy ran up to his car and told him that it was a group of people running after him, he rolled up his window and locked his car door. Told my cousin if she didn't get her hands off of him, he was gonna lock her ass up. And they let my son die with the ambulance right there. But I ain't been able to get out nobody to help me. Nobody. I called that man down in Magnolia, Georgia, that be all on the TV. What's Crump or something like that. I called his office. No, I didn't call his. No, I wrote to him. I wrote to him. No, I called him because I had his phone number. I called his office because his uncle gave me his phone number. The lady where I went to church, the pastor's wife was his cousin, and she introduced me to his uncle, and the uncle gave me the phone number. So I called down there, and I left my phone number. Somebody called me back that's supposed to be his detective and told me they couldn't help me. He didn't call me his detective. Somebody said he was the detective. Then this Lane Shaw gave me a phone number to a man in Raleigh. This man told me he was already representing somebody from my hometown. The only person that could have been was Danny Brescia. So I just knew I could. Nobody was gonna help. I see nobody was gonna help me. Nobody. Not nobody. When I say nobody, I mean nobody will help me because they didn't feel my son was worth anything. Just like they don't feel I'm worth nothing. I've been telling my family that I'm being gang stalked. And my sister, that they're not gang, it's not just gang stalking. Because the gang stalking is the part where they people just following you around. These people are torturing us. They've called my sister to hell all her. They still attacking her. It's like they are still attacking me. And then you got people that say they got out of gang stalking. And they telling a lie. But the more you pray, the more you seek God, the more they come after you. So you people that saying y'all prayed y'all way out of it, you telling a lie. You just telling a lie. You're not targeting individuals. You're gang stalkers. So the more I pray, the more these people come after me, the more they try to hurt me. They're not going to just stop attacking you. Antichrist system. The Antichrist system. But Danny Bradshaw, that's who blackballed my name. Because he came on my job. He came on my job when I worked there on the corner store. I was in there by myself. Questioning me about me. He not never seeing me with a man. Like that's some of his business. You don't supposed to see me with that man. You don't be with me in my private time. Around me. So whether or not I have a boyfriend, that ain't none of your business. None. But somebody was attacking me while I was in my hometown. And they monitored me. I didn't never hear nobody on top of my house. But somebody was going around my house, tapping on my windows, scaring my children like crazy, calling my name, just tapping up, beating on my window, calling my name, going all the way around my house, scaring my children. Because I would walk to the store at night and get me with a little bottle of beer, neither because I couldn't sleep. I had problems sleeping even back then. And somebody was attacking me. My heart would beat so hard until you could see my my body jerk, and my heart would wake me up out of my sleep at night. So it had to be him, Danny Bradshaw, the same joker that come to my job, and the same joker that covered up my son's murder, the same joker that got the sheriff departments lying on me, going to the community watch me. Same joker that when the because I called the FBI. The FBI man never did call me back. He never did call me back. I called twice, but they got him out of office because they had a lot of files against him. And the amount of files they said they had against him, they had some years of complaints, because they said they went there 2 days back to back with files and files against him, where he was stopping people out on 95, taking these people money. And I always felt he was the one that killed Timmy and that other boy. Timmy daddy was on TV and said that Timmy said that if anything happened to him, Danny Bradshaw did it. He said it on TV. And that's why they lost somebody else for it, but I think it was Danny Bradshaw. I do. How tired them boys shot Timmy in the head and cut the other boy's throat and shot him in the head in the motel in Roland. And that's why these sheriffs are after me the way they're after me. Because Danny Bradshaw blackballed my name. Because somebody had to say something to him, because, well, not really, because when I go to the grocery store, it could have been my ex-boss. He probably got something to do with it too. His wife. Because my ex-boss was trying to get me to meet him uh, down a dirt. Now he in a car. I supposed to walk and meet him down a dark road. Somebody I don't even like. I didn't even like him as a person. He was just my boss. And so to to leave me alone, I said, okay. But I didn't mean I won't get ready to walk down the road to meet him. I don't have to. I don't have, honey, back in them days, I looked really good. I didn't have all this weight on me. I had my hair long, and I didn't have to be with him. For what? He didn't appeal to me no kind of way. And so I didn't meet him. I really forgot about him. I went out to the club. And so the next day I went there. I don't know if I had to go to work that day or not. But anyway, I went to the grocery store. He said, hey, Regina. I said, hey. I had forgot. He said, how was your night? I said, well, good. He said, well, mine won't well for you know what? He said, I was out there waiting on you. I said, what? I said, oh, I forgot. I'm going to meet him. So when I went back to check my hours for the week, I had 7 hours for the whole entire week. 4 hours one day, 3 hours another day. And so him and his friends was up there. His drinking partners was up there in the office. And he had the schedule. They have put the schedule right there at the office, yeah, before you go into the office. And so I looked at it. I ain't say nothing to him. I walked over to the manager. I said, you can tell him I won't be back. And I went home. He sent word to me that if I want my job back, that I could come talk to him. So I told her, I tell him I don't want this job back. I don't have to sleep with him in order to get a job that's only paying me minimum wages. And so I didn't go back. I dealt with the only grocery store we had, so I had to go to the store. No, get ready. You crazy? I don't have to take this kind of crap off of nobody. I don't have to sleep with somebody just to hold on to a minimum wage job. And this man came to my house asking me what happened. And people must really like me for him to come to my house and ask me, because he was saying that I was the only one he wanted to go to my register, me and this other black lady named Judy. And he didn't go to some other girls register. And he already knew. He said he told people that's probably what happened. And that's what happened. I just told him. So somebody called me saying they were from the sexual harassment. But I hadn't called nobody. I hadn't complained about sexual harassment. I wasn't going to, and I never did. I never did uh, complain. I never did press charges or nothing. I just left it alone. I just left it alone, and I didn't even talk about it. I'm just ain't going back. And so the person called me and was questioning me about what happened. So it had to be it might have been Danny Bradshaw. I don't know who it was. But when I told them what happened, they got offended and started trying to talking to me with a hateful voice. And I can't remember if I said something. For me back then, them days, I would cuss you out. So I don't know if I cussed the person out or what, but I hung up on them. And I thought about it. I said, well, why would he could get upset because what he called me? And it didn't dawn on me until, I don't know if it this year or last year, that it was some of his mess had somebody call me and question me. But I wasn't going to press charges. And then it could have been his wife, because there was two girls there, Jan and Peggy, and they were, Gene, we gonna stay over and have a drink with Sonny. And they'll ask me to stay over, which I was never a big drinker, but I would drink sometimes. And so I would stay over. And every time they did it, but leave. They figure they got a excuse to leave. And every time I get ready to leave, to have another drink, Regine, have another drink. Mute my dumb self, have another drink. So this one time, his wife came and looked in the door, and she called and asked him what was I doing in there. And I wasn't doing it in that drink, because I'm the last person on earth you have to worry about want your husband. He didn't even appear to me. Anyway, um, I don't know, I can't remember what he said. But after that, she quit speaking to me. Because after I moved to Lumberton, the grocery store that my sister shopped at, and when I would go to the grocery store with her, she would always speak to my sister. Now, she knew me first. She would never speak to me. But honey, she's just a dumb woman. Because I didn't want her husband. I was just having a drink because Peggy and Jan asked me to stay over. And then they conniving. I didn't want no son parts. Didn't then, don't now. But These people is the one that put blackball my name, trying to destroy my life. And the probably reason why they blackball my sister's name is because when I moved to, trying to think what exact time it was, I was in Maryland. I was living in Maryland, working in D.C., and he called me on my job, telling me that I needed to come back to home because uh, this guy had broke into my house. I had left all my stuff. What I had meant to do was move up to D.C. because my niece had invited me up and got me up there and tried to mistreat me, try to run over me. I don't let nobody run over me. And come back. I was gonna get my own place and come back and get my stuff, but it won't. I couldn't do it because it was kind of hard. And so I never did come back to get my stuff. But he broke in my house, and he said my brother-in-law told him to do it. And now I'm thinking that the type of person that my brother-in-law is, 'cause I didn't know he was that type of person back then. But what he did to my sister, he probably did tell him to break in my house. Cause how would he know that I had all that stuff in that house? And how did my brother-in-law know unless my sister told him? Could have had her hands in it too. Cause the dude said it. She had her hands in it. My brother-in-law and my sister. I left everything. Just except for the clothes that we took up. And then my brother-in-law, he the one took me up there. Him and some other dude smoked crack the whole time. My children in the van. Him and this man was smoking crack all the way up there. But he probably did tell that dude to go in there and get my stuff. I didn't get all of it back. He even took the refrigerator and the kitchen stove. I didn't get my kitchen table back. My mama couch. A lot of my children clothes and my clothes. Everything that was in my son room, they took all his stuff that I decorated his room with. And I saw a lady with my outfit on. Would have been one of my friends' grandma. And they knew that he broke in my house. Think they trying to offer my stuff. Knowing that he broke in my house. But once I moved back down here, I let it be known that he stole my stuff. Plus he went to jail, but he didn't go long. He didn't go to jail long. This is they call me ask God. I said, God, why was I fighting them in my dream? Because it was my friend, my ex friend, and her mama fighting me. And I woke up because my spine was vibrating so bad that woke me up. But I do believe it. Dan the Bradshaw and probably Sonny. either son or his wife. So people, I don't bother people unless they bother me, and they be shocked when they start trying to mess with me, and I backfire on them. They think they can just say anything to me, and I'm supposed to take it. Yeah, but that's who I be like by my name, Danny Bradshaw. Cause what is his point of coming to my job saying he don't never see me with a man? That ain't none of your business. Whether you ever see me with a man or not, that's none of your business. That's not any of his business. None. Not none of his business. And then trying to think, was that before that happened or after that? My boss tried to accuse me of running the register without any receipt paper in it. So I had to tell him. Because he had told me that when it get white, I think it was white, no, pink, when it get to the end, it'll turn pink in the middle. He told me to still run it. Don't change the paper. So I didn't. And then he gonna accuse me of running the register with no paper in it. I said, that's a lie. I said, cause you told me when the paper get to the end and it start running pink, not to change it, and I didn't. I had to tell him about himself more than one time. He tried to accuse me of stealing. I had to let him know I don't have no reason to steal. None whatsoever. I have no reason to. And that day he hollered at me, talking about how, how he do that. Saying that I wasn't supposed to let this drunk man come into the restaurant hollering at me. I'm waiting on people now. And this guy came in drunk and said that my boss had him to fill out a petition to sell beer or alcohol. And when he come in, the boy was sitting over there drunk. I heard a loud commotion. I looked here and threw the boy out the door, but he the one had him getting people to fill out for him to um, sell alcohol. So it was time for me to go home when he come in, and the second shift girl was coming on. And he come in there hollering at me, talking about what he paid me good money for. He told me not to let them drunks come in. I said, that ain't what you told me. You told me not to serve no alcohol, wine or whatever that was that he was selling. And so I went home. My I live on the third block from the store. And I said, I'm not getting ready to let that man talk to me like that. So I walked back up to the store. He was standing outside. So I walked up to him. I said, I called his name. He turned around. I said, I don't appreciate the way you talk to me. So he put his hand on his head and said, well, what you going to do about it? You going to quit? I said, no, I ain't quitting. I said, but I'm letting you know I don't appreciate the way you talk to me. He said, well, I told you when them drugs come in here, not to serve them no alcohol. Not no. He said, I told you when no drugs come in here to call the police. I said, no, you didn't. I said, you said when the drugs come in, don't serve them no alcohol or whatever. I can't remember if it beer. It might have been beer that he was selling, but he was trying to get it where he could sell wine. So that's what he was serving beer. And I can't remember what all he said, but I know what I see. I told him, you don't pay me enough to hurt my feelings. And he looked like he was about to laugh when I said that. And he walked off and went back and went in this back in the store. And I walked by a little butt right on back to the house. I meant that too. And this guy told me, Tom, I thought y'all was about to fight. I said if he'd have sworn we would have. I said I just want to let him know he don't pay me enough money to hurt my feelings. Talk hollering at me and talking to me like he paying me a lot of money, paying me minimum wage. And I'm the cook, the dishwasher, the cashier. I'm working by myself. Me and him had about 3 run-ins. He thought cause the girl, when I first got there, she talked about how he be cussing them out. I said, well, he not gonna be cussing me. Uh-uh. Not ain't nobody getting ready to be treating me that way. You paying me minimum wage. I'm broke from 1 month from one paycheck to the next paycheck, and you think you gonna talk out of me any kind of way? You don't go that route. Sure, don't go that route. Was he ended up closing up that store, but some man came there. I don't know who that man was. They were strange men began to come up in that store. Cause the first one was this black guy, and see, that time he walked in the store, he was looking at me so hard, and I just got sick. I got so sick. And then this girl that I was friends with, she come in and she said, "Girl, what is wrong with you? Your eyes all big and stuff." And I told her, I said, "I don't feel good. I feel sick to the stomach." So she told me to take some warm water, put salt in it, and drink it, and it'll make me throw up. And so I did. It did. After I threw up, I felt better. But that dude, that black guy, I had never seen him before. Then a white man came. This white man came. They must have been coming in there checking me out then, because this white man came in. And I don't even remember them ordering nothing. I'm quite sure they ordered something. But when that white man came in there, Nikita come in and order something to drink. So I gave it to him. He got the drink and left, didn't pay me. So I won't get ready to run after him for no soda. But when I saw him again, I told him, I said, don't you do that no more. I said, I didn't want to embarrass you. I said, but don't you do it no more. And then another white man came in, but he went and talked to my boss. I don't know what happened after that, but I don't think it was long. He closed down the store, but he still had his store in Lumberton. Cause he had a store in Lumberton and a store in Roland. That store in Lumberton he's still running it. So I'm looking back. I see like all this is connected. I think all of it is connected, and they must have paid him off for that pay him off to close down that job, I mean, close down that store. After that, I think that's when Paul got it. Paul got it, and I started working for Paul. And Paul thought he was gonna holler at me too. I gave him the job. I'll play that. You know, you hollering at me, talking down to me. And you, for minimum wage, you're crazy. That's like working for free, getting paid minimum wage. I got 4 children that I'm raising. So I reckon I need to go ahead and go back. But like I said, I don't have dreams. Ever since they implanted me, the only dreams I have are demonic. But I believe this was God. I believe this one was for God. Because I asked God, why would I dream about them trying to fight me? I can't even remember how I got to the asking him who blackballed my name. But it came to me, Danny Bradshaw. Because this is the church, sheriff department, and he was the chief of police in our town. So it's the cops that's getting people blackballed. And he worked hard to come against my son, and I didn't even get a chance to identify my son. When I saw my son, he had already been embalmed, dressed, and in his casket, waiting on his wake. That's when I saw my son. This is how these people treat me. I treated my son. I couldn't get nobody help. Nobody. Because of dirty cops, dirty sheriff department, dirty chief of police, dirty, dirty law. Mm. Well, I'm gonna close out. I done talk down. I ain't got nothing else to say. Nothing else coming to me.